Hey, come on in, have a seat. Yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a couple weeks. I know. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you coming in for office hours when you have any questions. It's no problem at all. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, tell me what you're writing about. I think you sent me a draft, but I'm just catching up on emails because this time of the semester is absolutely crazy with finals and everybody having questions about their essay. No worries though. So it might have gotten lost. Let me just have a look. Let me see. Oh, no, here it is. Got it. Okay, yeah, so you're doing the romantic period. Okay. Alright, so why don't you tell me what poems you decided to work with? This is for British literature too, right? Okay, just making sure. It's easy to get all the different classes mixed up and everything. Okay, so for Brit Lit 2, and you're gonna work with Wordsworth, you said? Okay. No, that's fine, absolutely. So why don't you just tell me, because I have your draft up here, but if you could just remind me a little bit of what your argument was going to be for the assignment, and maybe tell me what you're having a little trouble with. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So it is an essay of 4,000 words, so we kind of consider that to be a bit of a tricky length because it's not a full dissertation. It's about a third of a typical dissertation, but it's not a super short essay either. So I understand that picking your argument scope, you need to make sure that it's not too broad, such that you can't fit everything you want to say into the space of 4,000 words. But you also don't want it to be too narrow so that you run out of points. So you're kind of struggling with striking that balance. Okay. Yeah. So, really quick, do you mind if I just have a little read through what you've written so far, and then I can kind of give you a couple of my tips or tricks with that? Okay, cool. Alright, just sit tight because I will just speed read and refresh my memory a little. I know, I really need a caffeine boost. Like, what happened to the sun? This time of year always catches me off guard because we only have like 5 hours of daylight. And I'm getting so tired by like 3 p.m. every day. I know, it's rough, so caffeine it is. It's not like caffeine addiction isn't already a problem with academics. Alright, just one sec. Okay. I see what you mean. I see what you mean about the opening argument. I have a habit of scalding my tongue every time I try to drink tea. Aforementioned caffeine addiction. I'm a little too eager. Do you mind if I make a couple comments directly on the document? Okay, great, thanks. Makes my life a lot easier. Okay, so it looks like you're focusing on his religious beliefs and how those themes manifest throughout the lyrical ballads. Is that right? Okay, just making sure. Yeah. Just making sure I understand. So you're focusing on Wordsworth specifically, on the doctrine of pantheism, or I suppose the philosophy of pantheism and how it manifests in his works, right? Okay, so I see you've mentioned lines written a few miles above Tintern Abbey, which is, of course, the quintessential Wordsworth text to include, but I think you might benefit from kind of diversifying your approach a little bit. Because of the word limit, I think your argument is a little too specific. I think you might run out of things to say. It seems like you might be struggling with that, just from the first bit that I've seen. Although I have to say that your thesis statement is really strong. Yeah, it's really strong. Because I think people tend to overlook the importance of his religious radicalism in his earlier career. Yeah. Actually, you might consider looking at a sort of comparative analysis of Wordsworth and Coleridge, given that you're going to look at the lyrical ballads. Now that is a bit of the opposite problem of being a little bit broad, and when I was an undergraduate, that was my struggle. So I won't try to make it too difficult for you. But I could recommend a couple of Coleridge poems for you, which really play upon the supernatural rather than the sort of naturalistic pantheism that you see in Wordsworth's poems. Have you read any Coleridge beyond what we did in the semester? No? Okay. No worries. I mean, we still have several weeks before the essay, so before it's due anyway. So you're really ahead of the game here. Hopefully you'll have a day or two just to read up a couple extra poems. They might inspire you. You also really don't have to include them, but I think it could be a good idea. Yeah, and because I see you already have Tintern Abbey and A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal, and My Heart Leaps Up. Those are pretty good examples. Did you put The Solitary Reaper? Is that on your list? Yeah, okay. Cool. So you've got a broad number of Wordsworth poems, but I think including the comparative element might really strengthen your argument, because I think that Coleridge's inclusion of magic and the supernatural juxtaposes Wordsworth in a way that's palpable in the lyrical ballads, and I think they themselves had a lot of debate about what really should and shouldn't be included in order to be taken seriously. Yeah, I know you probably remember us talking about that in class. Were you there that day? Okay, yeah, you were there. Cool, perfect. And then I can also recommend a couple of databases that have good secondary criticism resources for you, because obviously we're asking you to focus on the primary texts mostly for this essay, because we want you to kind of demonstrate your own ability to form an argument and express your personal views in an academic way. But it's always good to have done, some of the consulting of what research has already been done in the field. It's kind of good to get used to using those online databases that the university provides. Okay, so in a previous class you used a couple of them. Well, that's good. It won't be too much extra work for you at the last second. I would really hate to add to your stress, so let me know if anything I'm suggesting isn't helpful, or also you don't have to use everything that I'm giving you today. This is just to kind of help you out. Cool. Well, actually, I have a copy of the lyrical ballads with me if you want to borrow it for the essay, and then you can just drop it off in my office before you head home for winter break? Yeah? Okay. Let me just grab that for you really quick. Oh, there it is. Oh. Yeah. Trusty Norton anthology. These anthologies, they sometimes leave out some really important texts, and then other times there's just stuff that you really don't need that much of, in my opinion. But this one's kind of good. It covers the entire Romantic period, so it should be really useful for you. Let me just have a peek around, and I can recommend a couple of the Coleridge poems for you that I think might fit your essay theme really well. Okay? No worries. It's no problem at all. That's what office hours are for. You didn't come here just to listen to me rant about what should and shouldn't be in an anthology. Yeah, this anthology is also really useful because it has some background, like introductory information just about the Romantic period, and specifically about the political situation in England during the 18th century. I think that could be of use to you. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so right here in the middle. Oops. They have quite a few of Coleridge's poems, like the ones he's most famous for. And I know I think we read just The Ancient Mariner in class, but there are a few other ones I'd recommend. So, yeah, here you can see on page 443. Actually, do you want me to... Oh, I'm not going to dog ear it because I'm not a monster and I don't destroy books. But I could just put a little bookmark in there for you. Would that be helpful? Okay, sure. Yeah, so the Rime of the Ancient Mariner is on 443. So let me just grab a scrap of whatever I have lying around. No, I'm not an organized professor with like post-it notes. What are they? I use like random receipts from the grocery store in like all of my books. Don't judge me. Let me see what I've got back here. It's a shame I actually cleaned up. Oh, this will do it. I've just got some like extra postcards and stuff like lying around. Look at this one. This one's actually kind of pretty, so aren't you lucky? Okay. So there's that one. I'm just looking for Kubla Khan because there's quite a lot of like weird magical occult stuff going on there that I think you might have a lot of fun with. Yeah. No, it's a really interesting take. I mean, there's a lot of scholarship on Coleridge and the supernatural, but I think that there's somewhat lacking on Wordsworth because he's considered the more conservative of the two. So maybe you'll be adding something totally original to Wordsworth scholarship. Okay. Right after Mariner, Christabel is on page 470. Yeah, 470. So I'll just go ahead and mark that for you. Yeah, this one I got somewhere, but it's got a nice little sunflower on it. I don't know. I'm just trying to bring you some cheer during these dark days. I know. How many finals do you have still? Ooh, that's tricky. Yeah, that's a lot. I hope you're getting enough sleep, drinking enough water. No, I get it. I don't think I slept much when I was an undergrad, especially not during final season. But it is really important. Yeah. What I used to do, the library, like the environment was just so stressful to me because it was full of like students like sleeping there and like bringing sleeping bags and just like camping out because they were so like panicked about finals. So what I would do is I would go as far off campus as I could for a couple of weeks, and I would study in this little Barnes and Noble like way out in the town, away from the university. Yeah, the university I went to. It's on the East Coast. Okay, so yeah, you've been there. And I would just camp out in this little Barnes and Noble, and it would always be full of like Christmas stuff. And there was like a Santa Claus that would come every once in a while, and kids would take pictures with him. So it kind of got a bit chaotic, but it was still less stressful than being in the undergrad library this time of year. Yeah, I'm sure you can relate. We'll just take it easy, okay? It's not worth it. Your mental health is more important. But still write the essay if you can. Actually, I was going to bring this up to you. If you need an extension, that's totally fine. Just try to send me an email a couple of days in advance, preferably like 4 to 5 days, just so I can prepare, because I've got like a marking schedule that I'm trying to keep to so that I'm done before the holidays. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, it's no worries if you don't need it, but I just like to offer it to everybody because it's really tricky. With everything you guys have going on, sometimes you just need a little break. So don't worry about it. I just need a little bit of a notice. Cool. Perfect. So I will give this to you because I've bookmarked a couple poems. And I would definitely check out some of the introductory information, like I was saying, because that might be really useful for you. Okay. Yeah, here you go. It's no problem at all. And then before you go, I was thinking I was gonna give you your essay proposal back. Yeah, I've got it in here somewhere. And you weren't in class second to last class when I gave these back. So when I saw you were coming for office hours, I figured I'd just wait to give it to you till now. It's in here somewhere. Oh. I swear to God, I'd lose my own birth certificate right now. Oh, here it is. Got it. I should probably get a more sophisticated method than this plastic blue folder to like hold my students' assignments in. Alright, here you go. Yeah. So if you want, just like flip. Yeah, you can just flip through it and let me know what you think of my comments that I made on it. Yeah. Like, you did really well, obviously, since I approved your essay topic. But I just gave you a couple of corrections on some of the language that you used, and made a couple of suggestions for those databases I was telling you about. Yeah. So if you go onto the library website, I'll show you. Oh, one sec. Okay. Yeah, if you see right here where it says resources, there is a database A to Z section that I think, oh, can you see? Yeah, sorry, turn my brightness up. Yeah, there's a database A to Z section, and I really recommend looking at the one specifically for the Romantic period. And then, so you probably did the whole research methods, blah, I can't say that, research methods. You did the research methods class where they kind of went over how to do different types of searches to get the most accurate results. Okay, cool. So you probably already know but I just wanted to show you exactly on the website like where they are, so that you can find it during your research. Usually you'll have to log in with your university ID, but sometimes it does it automatically, just to make sure you get access to all the documents that you might want on the database. Yeah. So you can do what's called an advanced Boolean search, where you put in your search terms and you can use different different clauses like and or to get the most accurate results. So let's say you type in like Wordsworth and pantheism, you will get usually like a bunch of journal articles, books, or other resources that are include those words either in the title or the abstract, so that so that's really accurate for you and you don't waste your time looking through tons of research, doing tons of research that you don't actually need. Cool. So you see how it works? I would recommend trying to diversify it a little and don't just stick with JSTOR the entire time, because, well, I mean, you totally can if that is easiest, or like if it actually is helpful for you. But I think the more broad and the more like different databases that you look at, the more accurate and the better quality of research you're gonna do. Yeah. So we don't really give you a set number of sources that you have to include, right? Obviously, since you're doing the lyrical ballads, you're gonna have quite a few primary texts, primary poems that you're close reading. So for that reason, I'd say you probably don't need a lot of secondary sources, especially if you use the Norton for its introductory information and little passages. So, I mean, do what feels right to you. We really can't tell you exactly how many sources you need. For a paper of 4,000 words, somewhere in the realm of 10 to 20 sources is probably good. But again, there are exceptions to that. So, yeah, I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear. I'm sorry. Okay. And then one other thing that I always like to show students when they come to office hours is the Oxford English Dictionary Online. Have you used it before? Okay. Well, we get access to it through the university, and it's actually a really important resource if you're doing anything linguistically speaking, if you're looking at the popularity of certain terms or word usage during any given historical period. So since you're looking at England in the 18th century, if you come across a word in either Coleridge or Wordsworth's poems, or any of their letters, if you're looking at correspondence, you can come right on here. I'll show you again. Sorry, I keep tilting my screen. OED.com. And it'll probably make you sign in, but you're good once you do that. Then you can just go to search. You can type in the word. And then you see like this huge long like timeline shows up. It'll give you the meaning of the word throughout different periods, its popularity at that time, and how you can really see how the meaning might have shifted. And you can also see which words were invented by Shakespeare, because of course there are many. Yeah. That little cross thing, that just means that the word has become obsolete, or it's an archaic meaning, so it's not really typically used anymore, but it was once used in that way. Okay, you get it, you're smart. Alright. Okay, yeah, it's almost 3:30, but we have a couple more minutes. Do you feel a little bit better about the direction that you're trying to take the essay? Well, that's good. I'm glad I didn't confuse you further. I think you have a solid topic, and I think that your thesis statement really reflects that. And you can look at my comments on your, hold on, I think I wrote it right here. Okay, yeah, here it is. I just thought you worded that really well, so you can feel free to use any of the introductory text that you wrote for the essay proposal. You can feel free to use that in the paper, like directly into it. It doesn't really qualify as self-plagiarism for us because this is like a first draft almost. Alright, one more question before you go. What is your winter break reading? You have any like fun, recreational literature you want to get your hands on this season? Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know you were into Russian literature. Well, have you read Crime and Punishment? No way. That's like the one that they make you read in like every high school across the country. No, I think it's really good. Actually, do you want to borrow my copy of it? Yeah, it's no problem. Sure. It's right here. Yeah, I've got one of those pretty copies. Do you know what? I got it from the same Barnes & Noble I was telling you about. Yeah. It's been with me since I was a youngin', just like you. No, I mean, it's a bit dense, but if you like Russian literature, I don't think you'll have too much trouble. It presents a really interesting ethical dilemma, a really interesting existential commentary. So I think you'll like it, especially if you want to keep focusing on different themes of religion, ethics, morality in literature. Yeah. And this one, I'll show you this copy. It's so like vibrant, isn't it? Yeah, it's a very nice red color. Really nice. I did damage it a little bit when I was moving last year, so sorry about that. But what I love about this copy as well is that it has this little, has one of those like tag things. You can see right here. So I don't have to give you my random scraps of paper. Yeah, awesome. No problem. I hope you enjoy it. No worries if you don't get around to it because the holiday season is always a little bit hectic, and I know I always have very high reading goals for myself that I don't usually meet most of the time because I'm still marking essays on Christmas Eve. Don't be like me. But yeah, if you do finish it, feel free to shoot me an email. Are you taking any of my classes next semester? Oh, great. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you're doing the single author requirement for the major. Oh, cool. I think you'll love the Shakespeare class. We have a lot of fun with it. I know Shakespeare can seem really dense and overtaught, and to a certain extent I agree. But we try to make it fun, you know. We look at the different plays, and I mean, people have written about all sorts of things that you wouldn't expect because Shakespeare scholarship is so diverse that you can really do with it whatever you want. There's always some way to like tie in your interest, and since you're interested in like philosophy and ethics, you'll probably really like when we do Hamlet and Richard III. I guess pretty much all of his tragedies have an ethical component to them. Yeah. Okay, cool. Here you go. No problem. Well, thanks so much for coming in, paying me a visit in my lonely office all the way up here on the 3rd floor. And best of luck with all your finals. Let me know about that extension, okay? It's really no problem. As long as you have it in by the 15th. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, have a great break. And I'll see you next year, I guess. I'll see you next year for Shakespearean tragedy.